What is up, the world, and welcome to another episode of Voicing My Wrestle. In this episode, I'm going to be reviewing Money in the Bank 2016, and what a great pay-per-view it was. And I just want to start out by saying that all three members of The Shield were WWE World Heavyweight Champion in one night. Let that sink in. All three members of the former group known as The Shield were WWE Champion in one night. Back to back to back. It was incredible. As much as I hate Roman, that is an incredible fact. Shield era, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I never got to watch the pre-show, so I'm just going to skip that. Nobody cares about the pre-show anyway. First match of the card, New Day, Vaudevillains, The Club, an Endzone Cast, Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the World Tag Team Championships. It was a good match. Really, really good match. Lots of spots. Lots of fun, entertaining to watch. There was also a lot of botches. The 3 count that was really a 4 count Endzone Cast should have been champion, but I digress. It was a good match with New Day coming out on top. Still your reigning, defending WWE Tag Team Champions. We had Baron Corbin facing Dolph Ziggler. Everybody been hating on this. We've seen it 100 times. We've seen it 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, whatever everybody's been saying. But the fact of the matter is, these matches are really good. They're not 5-star matches, 4-star matches. Hell, they're not even 3-star matches. For the most part, they're about 2.5 to the 3-point range. But they're decent. And it's better than seeing 2 jobbers go at it. I mean, it was okay with Baron Corbin coming out on top. Baron Corbin's beating Dolph Ziggler, a former World Heavyweight Champion, building his character. But we also had Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Apollo Crews looked phenomenal in that match. And that white noise from the second rope looked pretty devastating. But my favorite spot in the whole match was Apollo Crews doing the moonsault off of the ring onto the floor onto Sheamus. Incredible. I just really wish Apollo would have hit his finisher and pinned Sheamus instead of pinning him via roll-up. I don't know. I don't like roll-up victories unless it leads to a story, which I don't want another Apollo Crews Sheamus match. As good as it was, we don't need another one. Then we get into the matches that everybody wants to see, everybody cares about, what everybody's here for. And the first one was AJ Styles versus John Cena, a match 15 years in the making. The match was phenomenal, no pun intended. I really didn't expect AJ to dominate Cena in that match like he did. Just forearms and more forearms and more forearms, and I thought Cena had won at one point with the attitude adjustment, and of course I was rooting for AJ. I respect Cena, but AJ's been one of my favorite wrestlers for a very long time, and AJ needs to go over on Cena after losing to Roman Reigns twice. But it was a tainted victory, with the club getting involved after the referee was knocked out, causing AJ Styles to pick up the victory, which I'm guessing is going to lead into another match at Battleground, which maybe John Cena can win, and then we can head into SummerSlam 1-1. Each person has a win, each person has a loss. John Cena versus AJ Styles in the biggest party of the summer. And you can do some kind of special match. Hell in a Cell or Steel Cage to keep the club out. You can do no disqualification. Club might get involved, but I'd rather see AJ go over clean on Cena at SummerSlam. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Next, we had the Money in the Bank ladder match. Del Rio, Jericho, Owens, Zayn, Ambrose, and Cesaro. And I kept going back and forth on who I wanted to win. at one point, I kind of wanted Jericho to win. I mean, he's invented the match, he hasn't won. Give the man one of them. And then, I mean, Del Rio would have been a decent Money in the Bank holder. He did it before. I didn't think it was bad. Kevin Owens is one of the ones I really, really wanted to win, along with Sami Zayn and Dean Ambrose. Which, I mean, of course, Dean Ambrose won. And Cesaro wouldn't have been that bad either. For a second, I actually thought Kevin Owens was going to win. I was marking out, and I was going insane. But then Dean Ambrose won. And it's set up for the main event. But before we get to that, we had Rusev versus Titus O'Neil for the United States Championship on Father's Day. So, of course, Titus, being the dad that he is, has his kids front row at ringside to watch his match. And he loses. I really wanted Titus to win, and I thought Titus would be a good United States champion. We've seen Rusev as champion before. He's a good United States champion. But I say we need to give Titus O'Neil a shot. Titus O'Neil can be an incredible champion. But he tapped out in front of his children on Father's Day. And then Rusev would go on to mock Titus's children. And his son would slap Rusev in the chest. Alright. But on a more important note, the main event of the evening was Seth Rollins reclaiming the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the championship that he never lost, against Roman Reigns. The match was incredible. It was amazing. And honestly, I was rooting for Seth. Really wanted Seth to win, but I thought Vince was going to go the route of making Roman look strong. But in the end, it all made sense. Seth went over clean, which was incredible. Seth deserves every bit of that. And if Roman never becomes champion again, I'd be perfectly fine with that. If he retired, I'd be perfectly fine with that. But I'm not here to hate on people. I'm here to review. Seth goes over Roman clean. Seth celebrating. The spear countered into the pedigree was amazing. Loved it. I just wish they would have ended on that, not having to give Roman another pedigree. But Dean Ambrose cashes in his Money in the Bank contract, and instead of coming from the entrance, he comes from behind Seth through the crowd. Seth turns around, he plows Seth over with the contract, and looked painful. But Dean cashed in. Dean became WWE World Heavyweight Championships after the Dirty Deeds. And all three members of the Shield were WWE Champion in one single night. Now, I'm not sure this is going to set it for the Shield triple threat at Battleground. I feel like they'd save it for SummerSlam. I feel like maybe it's going to be Seth versus Dean at Battleground, and maybe Seth goes over or Dean goes over. Either way, Seth's beaten Dean before, so it wouldn't hurt his credibility. But I mean, and somehow Steph goes back to her old authority ways and makes Roman fight to get back into the world title picture, and then he gets back into it, and we had to show triple threat at the biggest party of the summer at SummerSlam. I don't see the Shield triple threat, a match that big, a dream match, a match people have been waiting on at Battleground. I feel like that'd be something to save for SummerSlam. But they do it at Battleground, then I guess they do it at Battleground. I mean, we're finally getting the Shield triple threat, and it's amazing. And I didn't understand Dean going over when he won the Money in the Bank contract match instead of Kevin Owens until the end, when it all made perfect sense, as they were setting up for a Shield triple threat match at either Battleground, the next pay-per-view, or SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer. I would somehow find a way to save it for SummerSlam, but WWE would probably do it at Battleground. Which, by the way, Battleground had an awesome intro thing going into it during the Money in the Bank thing, when getting us all hyped for it. But that is my review of Money in the Bank pay-per-view 2016. Have a good day, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.